another edition of the Pick and Downs podcast. I am your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and Peebush. How you fellas doing?
Doing great. Oh man, Bears 4 in a row, man. I mean, come on. I know it. I know it's a cute story against the
Bears are
Saints.
back.
That's great. That's great. But they butt whooped on the Commanders too. Not butt whooped, but and then they get butt whooped by the Cowboys this past weekend. And that offense Zoom is looking like it should be number one in the league. I heard a stat last night that apparently the Falcons were number one offensively, which is pretty much all Bijan. Let's be honest, it's all Bijan. Probably just on yardage, if I were to guess. But then that Cowboys offense has been amazing. And my last thing I got to shout out to anybody out there, man, with fantasy that held on to Mr. Rashee Rice until week 7.
I wish I could have got
limitations, maybe 10 targets against a bum franchise, and he still scores 2 touchdowns, man. And they pulled Patty Mahomes. It's beautiful. That offense, when they get into a legit game, is going to be very interesting to watch now. I don't know how you defend against all the weapons that they got, man, because they have 3 legit wide receivers that, with Mahomes, you have to respect all of them.
Absolutely. Like Rashee Rice, and I know people were trying to trade for him.
Yes, sir.
And some people were foolish enough to trade Rashee Rice for Garbaggio, a.k.a. Tony Pollard. You know what I'm talking
about. Putting this guy on blast.
Jason, what are you doing, man? You gave away like all I did after those 2 touchdowns is send him a bowl of rice, man. That's what I sent him, a bowl of rice, and all he could do is laugh because my God, Tony Petey laid an egg less than 10 minutes, and Rashee Rice just comes in, gets you 2 touchdowns on 10 targets, man. So
and like a half.
Exactly. Yeah, shout out to Rashee Rice because he just came back and business as usual, normal snap count. And he did that in 3 quarters. Yep. He did that in 3 quarters. So, like, that dude's absolute bag. That guy's a receiver 1. But, yeah, this week of football and fantasy football, beautiful. A lot of scoring. And shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs for putting on a virtuoso performance on a Monday night where there's a lot of teams thanking him. And this is what you call Monday Night Miracle.
Yep.
Monday, you could have been down 35 points and you could have won. That is what you call an absolute miracle. Shout out Gibbs. You're the biggest reason why I'm 3-1 this week. Shout out to Mr. Jahmyr.
There you go.
Rashee Rice is one of the guys that I did everything in my power to try to get him. And honestly, I don't think the juice was worth the squeeze in terms of what I probably should have gave up to get him. But I will say that in fantasy, a lot of these guys that are coming off an injury or guys who were suspended, those are sometimes within the throes of the season that they could shift you. If, say, you're right now, you're 3-4 or whatever, and you're in kind of that weird space where, like, I don't know, I'm kind of teetering on the playoffs. Those could be the guys that could make you get a bump, and the next thing you know, you're in the playoffs trending getting towards the championship game. So you always got to watch out for those type of guys. And, him coming in and doing that in 3 quarters kind of makes the competition in the AFC, look like it's shaping up to be a Kansas City. What is it called? Invitational.
I never lost hope.
Hey, man,
it's looking like that.
They still got a tough division, man.
They do.
And I'm not gonna say it, but shout out Bo Nix, man. That was crazy.
That game was.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Dropped 44 for me. Oh my God.
That's the genius of Sean Payton, and that marriage is. It's kind of, somebody brought up the point before we get to our main topics. They were talking about how, like, with Bo Nix and just him being in college forever, but his skill set compared to Drew Brees, I think Sean Payton's offense lends itself to Bo Nix's strengths to where, like, a lot of downfield throwing and just deep concepts is something that Sean Payton's been wanting to get off for a while, but it was hard to do it with Drew Brees. So I think just that marriage is actually literally is mainly perfect. So while one could say it is pretty shocking to see 33 points in a quarter, not so much when you see the marriage between Bo Nix and Sean Payton. So shout out to that. And like I said, they're also in that division, going to make it super interesting. So we're going to see how that plays out. But basically at the midway point in the NFL season, I wanted to get the guys' opinion on basically some teams that are showing that, they might be built for the playoffs. And then there's some teams that we're looking at like, I like your record, but I don't see you getting to a point where you're going to be making an impact further down in the season. So people start us off. Who is your contender? Who's your pretender?
I ain't picking the Bears, boys. It ain't happening. I'm not saying they're going to win it all.
Don't want to jinx them.
Their defense is frisky now, and I got to shout out Dennis Allen there, man, because I know it's not the best competition, but even against some decent teams, they've looked good, which I'm surprised by. But this team in the AFC, I'm like, damn, really? You're in first place? The New England Patriots? I mean, look, I know
got that written down too.
We can talk about it. That is the most, I think, the largest gap. We talk about the AFC South all the time. But the Dolphins and the Jets compared to how the Patriots and the Bills have been playing,
my God,
a ridiculous flip of the script, man. The Jets tanking, maybe not even on purpose. It's just happening because Aaron Glenn might be he's on the hot seat for being in his first year. He's not in a Brian Callahan situation. But I'd be curious to see what happens. He's not in charge of the offense. I think that's the big difference, right? And he is in charge of the defense, who has been decent this year. But going back to the Patriots, man, I mean, Drake May has been balling. He's looked like the best quarterback out of that 24 draft this year. There's no way around that. Even though Caleb's had good numbers, Drake May has been a lot better, more efficient, better decision-making, more accurate. And I've been super impressed by him. He's brought Kayshon Boutte back to apparently fantasy relevance a little bit.
He's a deep threat. Boutte has some big play ability.
Bit of Rashid Shaheed in him, Sean, one of our boys. And
I love Rashid Shaheed, man. Yeah.
The only thing is that there's a little bit more competition, I think, in that wide receiver room compared to a Saints wide receiver room. Stephon Diggs had 2 unbelievable games, kind of starting off with that Buffalo revenge game. And he's just kind of faded out a little bit. He's catching balls and everything, but this is the Ramondre Stevenson show. And no matter how many times he fumbles the ball, Vrabel.
I know, right? Yeah.
You know what? Apparently, and I didn't know this, if you look at Josh, is it McDaniels or Daniels? I was mixed up. All these Daniels.
I think it's McDaniels.
Yeah. Look at what he wanted to do in Oakland at the time. He wanted to trade Josh Jacobs. Yeah. I mean, you guys remember that. He was not wanted by Josh McDaniels in Oakland. And, not saying that Ramondre Stevenson is the same exact player, but Travion is a very different player than a Josh Jacobs type, and they just refuse to use him. I don't know if there's something going on in the locker room. Maybe they just don't think he's ready. But with Antonio Gibson going out for the year, and then you got Ramondre with the fumbling issues, this guy had 1 carry this last game. 1 carry in a positive game script. Like for running backs, it's unbelievable. So Ramondre's fumbling, I think, is my biggest concern about this team. Vrabel's always going to have their defense being relevant. But sure, man, they're 5-2. Look at their last 4 wins. Dolphins, Panthers, Bills. They did beat the Bills. They beat the Bills. I'll give them that one. Saints and Titans.
Barely.
Yeah. That's 4 of the most easy teams in the league. And then the Bills, which is just, okay, that could be huge for the division in a tiebreaker situation, but they do have to play them again. So, just looking at it, I mean, they have – some people are talking about how they have a great schedule, Browns, Falcons, but they still got to play the Bucs. The Bengals are not as easy of a cakewalk right now with Joe Flacco kind of gotten this team humming. The Giants, Jackson Dart, man, he's looking pretty good, man. So that's not a cakewalk either. And then you got to go to Bills. The Ravens will be healthy in the sense of Lamar Jackson. And then they finish off with the Jets and Dolphins, which, we just talked about, easy wins. I just don't see them to your point, Sean, playoff build. If they make the playoffs, it'll be in the wild card. I don't think they hold off the Bills for the division. Maybe they're within 1 game. I could see that. The Bills have not looked that dominant as we've seen them in years.
Bills' defense is a little.
Yeah, it's porous for sure. But I just think Drake May, this team, I'm not saying they're a blunder of a team. I think they have a solid, great foundation with a couple good veterans to kind of help Drake May continue his transition. But he's not gonna go far in his second year. I just don't see it. They need a couple more pieces, especially on the weaponry side of the offense. I think they could add a bit younger draft picks once Stephon Diggs is kind of out of the league if he's heading towards retirement. So I think they'll be there in a couple years, truly competing with Josh Allen for that division. I just don't see it happening this year.
Yeah, shout out to Drake May because his sophomore year, he's shown dramatic improvement and showing that he's a franchise quarterback and they got a quarterback for the next decade, and there's no doubt about it. There's actually no doubt about it because you can even say that they legit don't have like a receiver 1 or a running back 1.
No.
And it's been a very productive offense. A lot of it's just been Drake May showing his ability of mobility his accuracy down the field has been really, really nice to see. Like 12 touchdowns to 2 picks relative to last year at 15 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Like that's his start. So shout outs to him. Obviously, coaching staff probably empowering him, doing really, really well this year. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, 5 wins last week. Yeah, cake schedule could do that for you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Cake schedule could do that for you. I like that pick. But man, for me personally, it's one of the darlings of the league this year. I think it's I would say the biggest surprise of the year, if I have to say so myself. And I want to talk a little about this Indianapolis Colts right now, because I don't know, but I knew this division was wide open because this division was just bad. I like the Jaguars, the Texans, like the Titans got the number 1 pick, so that team was garbage. So you look at that division, it was completely wide open for any team to take over.
Yeah.
But for coming out guns blazing in that offense, like something about that offense, like shout out to the offensive line, shout out to the defensive line, shout out to the rookie tight end who is, oh my God, he looks,
tight end 3.
Oh my God, like he's doing the Brock Bowers season that I kind of projected. I was like, this guy could do, and they use him as like a slot receiver, like he's like the safety weapon of that offense. I'm just like, wow, everything's kind of like shaking. Like, my God, he's coaching his butt off. He's probably on pace for coach of the year this year with his play calling and getting dudes wide open. 6 wins, only 1 loss right now. Point differential with 92 points. It's all looking very, very beautiful, right?
Yep.
You know what it smells like?
Oh, don't do it, man.
Oh, it smells like a cute story like the Vikings last year, man. This is exactly what it smells like.
Was the Vikings a cute story? I guess because they lost early.
They
won a lot of games.
Story, man. They won a lot of regular season. They won
I wanted to say that.
Season games. And in the playoffs, a no-show. Just a no-show. They got annihilated.
They might get the bye, Zoo. They might get the bye.
Huge story. If you don't win a single playoff game after the bye, you better win 1 playoff game. Because if you win 0 playoff games, even with the bye, that's a cute story. They have as many playoff wins as you and me. You got to have at least 1 playoff win with this type of start right now. And the main reason is I'm still not a believer in Daniel Jones and high leverage. Like Daniel Jones, when his team is running the ball this effectively, when Jonathan Taylor is putting up LaDainian Tomlinson numbers, when he's on pace for 20-plus rushing touchdowns, it's a lot easier to play quarterback when you don't play action. And every time in the red zone, Jonathan Taylor is just smashing the ball in every time because Jonathan Taylor is on pace for OPOY right now with that offensive line. Like I think it's like an OPOY. You get the offensive line and the running back because that's what it takes for them to get it done. So you look at Daniel Jones right now, like he's not pushing moments where he has to push the ball down the field. The only game he was kind of challenged with the LA Rams, and he threw 2 interceptions in that game. Outside of that, when you're playing up, you just dominate with the lineman, play action. Daniel Jones passing it down to Alex Pearson and his guys down the field. It's a lot easier when you play up. That's all I gotta say. And in high leverage moments, he starts throwing the interceptions. And if you play against some playoff teams, it's not going to be that easy. It ain't going to be these blowout games. If you're looking at the Colts right now, smash the Chargers like 38-24. That doesn't even do the final score justice. That was an absolute annihilation.
Good team.
Yeah. A lot of injuries.
A lot of
injuries with the linemen play. So they're not. They were a really good team, and after all the injuries, I think they're just an all right team now. Raiders destroyed by 30+. Titans destroyed by 20+. Dolphins destroyed by 20. So a lot of blowout games. So in those moments, like when Jonathan Taylor gets you 3 touchdowns, quarterback doesn't have to be pushed. He can just be a game manager and run the offense. But in a playoff game, there are going to be moments where you're going to need Danny Dimes to come back in a game. And I don't know that. And I believe if they get the bye, I think they get 0 wins then. I think they lose whoever they play next. If they get 0 wins in the playoffs.
But to your point, too, like they could ride Jonathan Taylor literally to just like what's going wrong. They have the best offensive line in the league by far. Like I don't know, the only defensive line that truly scares me, and they wouldn't even have to potentially face them until the Super Bowl. And this would be the weirdest Super Bowl in a long time, but it would be Sam Darnold versus Daniel Jones because that Seahawks.
Oh my God, that would be insane. Yeah,
but you got to admit, the Seahawks have looked great, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and their defensive line is scary. I'm not saying the Texans last night have a great rush attack, but they just dominated on the defensive line. So that would be the only true D line, in my opinion, that I would be scared of, and you wouldn't even have to face them on the AFC side. So Jonathan Taylor, I think that offensive line wins against any other D line on the AFC. By far.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through it. Yeah.
Bills.
Like maybe the Chiefs just play up.
No.
Like Chris
not
Jones,
against, not
you got to
against,
always account for him.
But not against the number one O-line. If they were like middle of the pack.
Him and Quentin Nelson going after, that'd be crazy.
He's probably the best interior lineman in the league and has been for a while. So I agree, Zoo. Daniel Jones scares me, but you got to remember he has won a playoff game before. He did win a playoff game, so he's got a little experience. I agree. They're a cute story because of him, but everything else on that team is
everything else. That's the thing.
Agreed.
I love everything else of what they're doing: the coaching, the staff, the linemen. The only thing is they don't have like an elite receiver one, but they're doing it by committee and with the tight end as the main receiver. Yeah. But Daniel Jones in high leverage moments. I get they had that one playoff moment where it was such a great moment that the Giants just gave him the best contract ever after that playoff moment. But I gotta remind you, like, how did that great playoff moment end? 38-7 against the Philadelphia Eagles. He threw for 135 passing yards.
I agree.
0 touchdowns in him. So I'm telling you, and when you're going to play against some really, really good teams, like they can definitely beat on bad teams because they have an elite run game in the offensive line.
Yep.
If you go up, it's easy to manage that and just maintain the lead. So, like, he's been doing his job. Like, no shame on Daniel Jones this year. He's having a terrific year. 10 TDs, 3 picks, 80 QBR, which is phenomenal. Number 2 in the league.
Yeah.
But high leverage moments where you try to lead that, I call that Baker Mayfield comeback, when you have to make the comeback, right? You have to make something happen when your team needs you to extend the play. But
when you're down,
that has not been asked of him because the team's been amazing this year.
So that's we need to see him face a team that will force him to do that.
It'll happen.
That'll happen in the playoffs. That will happen in the playoffs.
Agreed.
So I'm out on them
playing downhill. Yeah, I do think that people ain't bringing it up because Daniel Jones, I guess, was so bad. So people are just still stuck in it's almost like the honeymoon stage. It's like, oh, it's such a revelation that he's now revealing his potential and he's got stacking, but nobody's really looking at the fact that, it's like it's easier when your running back is just purely dominating. And I will say in the playoffs, speaking of high leverage moments, normally the teams you're going against, they're game planning to a point where they're going to make Jonathan Taylor not beat them. So then they're going to more likely have to lean on Daniel Jones, and we'll see if he can, I guess, make that next step. It is going to be crazy, though, if they do get a bye. If they get a bye in home field, it really depends on matchups, but I would be probably – I got to see the matchup because I wouldn't be shocking. Be like, oh yeah, I could see Daniel Jones at least winning one playoff game, especially if they get it at home and
the Ravens might not make the playoffs. Think about
the Ravens are not. They're not making it unless Lamar just goes God mode. Like they're not making it. So think about the teams that they
exactly. The Broncos,
the Chiefs, and the Broncos. Yeah, I'm not scared of Broncos.
No one else in their division. The Steelers.
I'm about to say Pittsburgh. I'm literally looking at right now. Like, I'm not scared of the Steelers, especially if I got them at home. Like,
Forrest Buckner would destroy Aaron Rodgers. He would end his career for sure. This is his last year, and he'd make sure it was a cherry on top of it.
It's all about match. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the matchup would be, but if you get the Bills, Josh Allen, of course, is scary, but like that team is not scary.
Yeah.
It's not scary.
It's just the Chiefs.
So it would just be the Chiefs, which is you can say that about every team in the AFC.
So there you go, Zoo. If they meet the Chiefs, that likely means unless they're seeding.
God almighty, what world are we living in? What world are we living in that we're discussing Daniel Jones possibly meeting Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game? God almighty, what is going on? But
and the last time, just real quick, time the Colts and Chiefs met in the playoffs, man, that was a hell of a game when Andrew Luck played Alex Smith in that crazy comeback. You guys remember? Oh man,
yeah, I know that. I remember that game. Whew. Andrew Luck gone too soon, man. I always wondered what he would. Did he even make it to 10 years in the league?
I think he retired at 30.
So maybe like 7, 8 maybe years. Anyways, but good for the Colts because, like I said, they're one of the franchises who've also built their team out very well, and they just all you need is a quarterback, so they deserve it. But speaking of a cute story, Zoo was saying this year with Daniel Jones, going back to last year with Sam Darnold, I was with Zoo. Like, I was just like, Sam Darnold's putting up crazy numbers. I think when the playoffs come, not going to get it done. Now, I kind of got to walk that back because I'm looking at the Seahawks. And the same reasons you're talking about with the Colts, just team-wise, I look at them like they don't have a lot of flaws on that team. And so everybody's looking at Sam, and I'm looking at Sam like, I think Sam's good now. So I can't be like, oh, well, but this with Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones this year, he's got to continue to keep proving it. Sam had his last year to take. Like, we all know the playoff was a disaster, but the entire body of work was really, really good. Now, people were also saying, well, he's a Justin Jefferson merchant. He's got all these receivers. And some would say with JSN, that's kind of the case here. But I think his maturation from this year to now, I think the Seahawks can be a real contender. Now, in that division, winning it, I don't know because, San Francisco, I think, what are they? Are they 3-0?
We're all tied, 5-2.
So I know the Rams are, they're 0-1, I think, in the division, at least from what I was looking at. And I'm not worried about that because I think the Rams are really, really good. But just, I don't know if they get it by winning the division, but I think they're going to make the playoffs. And, just looking through their stats, I was just going through that surprised me because I wouldn't say surprise is the wrong way to say it. But like when I think of the Seahawks, just historically, I think of the defense. I always feel like regardless of whatever they got going on in the last 20, 25 years, I always feel like their defense is going to be solid. But just looking at their stats, I mean, first in rushing yards allowed, that'll work. Like if you can stop the run game, that's going to work. And then third in sacks. Yep. Now, you can also make the same argument. Look at their wins this year. They're not great. But to me, it's like if you just look past, because they lost, but that game against the Buccaneers kind of showed me like, okay, they can go toe-to-toe with a really, really good team. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I'm thinking difference makers. Obviously, the biggest one they have is JSN. Come playoff time, I think he's going to make plays. So that, to me, is going to help Darnold. We were just talking about the backs before the podcast, but even still, not in a fantasy football world, but in a real world, having two dependable backs like that is vital. So to me, it shows that, hey, they got a rushing game that they can depend on come playoff time. So I'm thinking to myself that I know that division is tough, and I can't pick right now who would win it. But regardless, I think they're gonna make the playoffs, and you see them in a wild card division, you don't want to play them.
No,
and don't let it be where they end up winning the division and they get home field. I think there's a real chance they're in the NFC Championship game if they.
Yeah, wow. I agree. I
just 12th man. That 12th man is different. It's different.
Yep.
I mean, who else would you argue is home field advantage wise, like in a playoff setting? Like that's probably in the top 3 of where I don't want to go. I just don't want to go there.
Green Bay is probably the only other one just because of the weather.
Yeah, weather. Facts. So, and their weather sometimes can get weird in Seattle, but I just am looking at this from 3 aspects of like Sam Darnold has proven to me now that he is a plus player. Like I think he could be good in a playoff game. Now I know last year was bad, but I think just to me, everybody writing him off because I was one of them. I was just like, yeah, he's going to Seattle. Like I knew JSN was good, but I'm like, he's going to fall back. Whatever, it's a defensive head coach. Like they're just going to game manage him. But he's going out there and balling. So to me, you got him. Like, I don't think he'll lose again. Now, am I saying he's Aaron Rodgers? No, but I think he's good. He could win you a playoff game. And then you factor in JSN playing like a top 2-3 receiver.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me feel like they have all the makings of being like, oh, wait, the Seattle Seahawks are playing whoever, and they're up 10 points in the playoff game. Like, who thought of them? Like, they're a little bit like how Zoo was talking about, at least with the Colts. They're downhill. Maybe they need to have more, like, opposition. But I think a lot of this, why I'm shifting this and I'm thinking this way is because I just think Sam Darnold's good now. Like, I think he got over the hump, and I think he could be a guy come playoff time, man. It's because I'm looking at the NFC like, yeah, you got Matt Stafford in that division. I'm not a believer in the 49ers at all. I'm looking else throughout that division, or not division, but that conference. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I mean, I do think I'm trying to go through my list right quick, but
the Eagles.
See, I don't want to say the Eagles because I think there's a fatigue of them losing the Super Bowl, and I just don't. It feels like that year that when they went down to Tampa Bay, they just got smacked. It feels kind of like that year. I just don't see them making a huge run. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. The Rams, honestly, just going through all the teams, they might be the biggest opposition. because the Rams, to me, Matt Stafford, his back is fine, and their defense, the Rams' defense also is really, really good. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how the seeding would work out and who would get what, but to me, those are the two teams that it's like, oh, they could go on a run. And I guess for respect, you can put the Eagles in there, but they're just too hot and cold. And
no Packers love?
The thing with the Packers is I don't know how to feel about it. Is a thing with their receiving core. Like, I know Jordan Love's good, but I want a guy for the Packers as a receiver to step
Romeo
up. And nobody's done it.
We got some Matthew Golden shareholders here. We got, for any listeners.
I like Matthew Golden. Maybe he, turns it up towards the end of the season, but it's just that's the only thing that scares me about the team. Because to the Packers, they got the defense, running game's fine, and I do like Jordan Love. And I picked him, I think, maybe before the season. But it's just I was expecting like some receiver to just make a step to where I feel more comfortable. Because like I said, when you get in the playoffs, all these teams are good. And then it's a game plan. Now, if they end up facing like, I don't know, somebody gets whoever they face.
Chicago.
I don't know. I mean, that wouldn't be an easy matchup. And listen, if you're in the playoffs in a division game, throw out all of that crap. It'll get the score will be like 9-4 or something. Like it'll be a weird score because it's just they know each other. Like so, I wouldn't even wish that if I was the Packers because I would honestly not want to play a division opponent until like championship game because then it's like whatever. But if it's like a wild card game and the Packers get the Bears got to go to the Packers, like I would love to see that spread.
Don't worry, Bears
No, dude, no. Because you know why, though? Because everybody in their mind would be picking the Packers. And that's like the easiest. Like, Bears have no pressure. So Caleb Williams is throwing it behind his back, and you look up, it's 22-10 Bears. Like,
hey, he won in Lambeau last year. People forget that.
Yeah. So
Malik Willis.
The reason why so like wrapping up the Seahawks is just I think I'm a believer in Darnold. Because this ain't really a JSN. Like, JSN is obviously, he's going to be a playmaker, but Darnold really has proven to me, like, man, he can't. I was so sure, like, he's going to be mid. I was thinking their defense is going to carry him. He's going to be like one touchdown, 122 yards a game or some bullshit, and then like throw a pop pass to JSN once again. No, he's commanding the offense, and he looks good. So, like Daniel Jones, jury's still out, but I think with Sam, like, I think he's cured.
Wow,
I think he's cured.
It's a lot of belief.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
I like him.
Sam Darnold.
And too, like, he also doesn't have to be. Honestly, he doesn't have to be. When I say he's got to be a good quarterback, he just has to be good. He doesn't have to be a Stafford, where it's like, preferably, I would like if he's going into the fourth quarter with like a 7-point or more lead. I don't want him to be down 10 and not like I don't have that type of belief because
he doesn't have the dog in him yet. Yeah, he hasn't proved that part. Yeah.
I got to see that. But like, if they got a 7-point lead, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with Darnold. So Seahawks and Colts, like they literally kind of are built the same in terms of like their teams are good, and then now we got the quarterbacks is who's going to get us over the hump. And I got more belief in Darnold than Jones, that's for sure.
And one's got a stud wide receiver, the other one is a stud running back, and vice versa is by committee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's very similar teams.
What would you?
I take the Seahawks. I would say because of the defense.
Yeah, defense.
They would make Darnold's life or Daniel Jones's life a living hell for sure.
For sure. So that's how I feel about that with the contenders and the pretenders. But getting into one of our favorite topics, we love to talk fantasy. We play it, every year, every second, every day, and kind of wanted to get an example. Kind of wanted to give an example of like basically all the type of stuff that's been going on within the season. For instance, there are people that look at stuff like a league winner. There are people that look at things that are like a league loser. So, Zoo, go ahead and lead this topic of who is your league winner, league loser, pick one, whoever. What are you going with this time?
Mm-hmm. For me, when I define a league winner, is a guy that just carries your team to the playoffs. It could be a first rounder, second rounder, because sometimes there's some late first rounders that shouldn't be late first rounders, should be number 1 picks or number 2 picks, and they fall or maybe they slip in the second round. Like, I define a league winner, a guy that could carry your franchise to the playoffs, like regardless of what draft position you are. And the guy I'm going with is Jonathan Taylor. Because Jonathan Taylor was a guy I remember. I remember just looking over a lot of stuff, like thinking like, who are the projections? Who are people going? Jonathan Taylor was not a consensus first round pick.
No.
In a 12-team league, you could have got Jonathan Taylor in the second round. And I remember thinking, oh, this is kind of weird. It's kind of strange. Like, oh, you get JT at the turn, at the late turn. I'm like, that's pretty nice. You get JT along with another, maybe a wide receiver one to pair him up with. Like, that's very, very interesting. But when I remember people were having like Chase Brown in front of him. I'm sorry. That's one of the things I was like, okay, this is getting out of control. I appreciate Chase Brown's end of the year, but Jonathan Taylor is one of those. He was a blue chip guy. This guy's an early draft pick. Showed as a rookie, he was an absolute stud. And second year is when he had the transcendent season. And after that, he struggled with a couple injuries, had a couple of off years where he didn't hit those 1,000-yard seasons. And I think people just forgot about how great Jonathan Taylor was. Because if you look at him last year, like, why was he a second round pick? The last year, he dropped 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns. It's not like last year he had an off year where he had his 700 yards with 7 touchdowns with a lot of missed games. And then, okay, maybe the injury thing, maybe he's past his prime. No, he had 1,411 touchdowns. And last year, the offense wasn't even that good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even that good right there. Like,
Pittman was hurt.
Yeah. So if you're looking at that situation last year, I still remember last year, he finished extremely strong. Like, if you look at his last couple of games of Jonathan Taylor, if you got to put these numbers up. Last couple of games, he had 177 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 125, 2 touchdowns, 218 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 107 yards. That's how he finished the season last year.
A losing season.
Yeah, exactly. That was him carrying an offense where it was not a good offense, and he was showing workhorse numbers, a guy that never leaves the field. And obviously, he was the biggest pass catcher. So that's one thing people are like, oh, he's not biggest receiving guy. But if you look at those workhorse numbers, like, there's only a couple of workhorses, true workhorses in the NFL, and Jonathan Taylor's that guy. He got paid. He's still young. He's not like, oh, this guy is 30. He's 29. He's 28. The brother is 26 years young. He is 26 years young, and he was getting discounted to a second-round pick. And I was just like, that is very, very interesting. Obviously, people were nervous about the Daniel Jones situation, so the offense isn't that great, which is fair. But if you're looking at what he does, like, regardless of the situation, and if he's healthy, he's been one of the most productive running backs in all of football. Vegas, before the year, had him projected over 1,400 rushing yards and over 11 rushing touchdowns. Like, he was up there. Yeah, like, so he was, like, Vegas had him in, like, similar yardage as a Bijan Robinson. So, like, they had him as that category as a rusher. So him going as a second round, and if you got him as a second round pick, and if
hopefully you didn't pick Saquon.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, because I'm telling you, man, like, him as a second round pick, man, is a league winner move. And like for you to, if you had JT and you're struggling, there's a lot of issues with your roster because this guy is putting up 30-point games like no other. Like, having multiple 3-touchdown games, like, it's
insane.
Like I said, like, he's putting Damian Thomason numbers. He's averaging over 24 half-point PPR points a game as a second-round draft pick. Second-round draft, not a first-rounder, a second-round draft pick. So everybody, if you're in a 12-team league, everybody had the opportunity to draft him regardless of draft position. And if you passed on him, and I made that mistake in one of my leagues, I made a foolish reason. I took a receiver. I took a running back. I don't want to double up on running backs. Foolishness. Absolute foolishness. Take the best player available. Jonathan Taylor was that guy, 26-year-old young stud workhorse running back in the second round. He was there for everybody to pick. All the fantasy expert consensus had him discounted. Like, I think some people rated him at like around 19. I was like, what is, like, I never understood that.
No.
I never understood that. Because, like, I had him as great as a first rounder, but as a second rounder, I was like, oh, maybe I could get him as a second round value. But sometimes, like, if you're at the turn, man, just take the guy. Like, reach a little if you truly believe in as a first. Because I had him graded out as a first round guy, but you could have get him as a second rounder. So a lot of times, let me see if I could get him back on the turn. But he's that league winner guy. If you have him, your odds of making the playoffs probably 50% because 24 half-point PPR points a game. That's unbelievable.
And it's saving a lot of people's seasons too, because if you're thinking about the turn there, a lot of people drafted Malik Neighbors,
injuries,
Nico Collins.
Yep.
Right. Puka's been unbelievable. There's a lot of teams that probably have Puka and JT. Right. That in maybe a 10-man more than a 12.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's a special
that's absurd, right? But you could even say, a CeeDee Lamb, right? Missed a few games. That could have set your team back a bit, but now that he's back healthy, you could have really stacked up getting JT. I mean, he went a little earlier, I think, in our draft, Zoo, than maybe
I believe he around pick 15 or 16.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And then there was a run. But no matter what, every mock draft that I had been doing, if he was there and I had like a mid first round pick, maybe early or a little bit later, I was trying to get him every time, and I couldn't get him in any draft. So it sucks. I agree. He's, every team that I've played against, I think they're at least above 500, except for the person that I'm not going to talk about. But I think you could make an argument that the biggest league loser looking at the first round outside of injury is Saquon Barkley. And I think everyone saw it coming. You call it the Madden curse. You call it just coming off of 300 plus carries last year. I mean, there's only been a few backs that have actually been able to repeat, maybe not even to that level, but to a similar level that following year. So I'm going to also talk about a league winner. Zoo, we already talked about another league loser in Nico Collins, but I don't know if someone else wants to cover that one. So
no, I'm good.
I'm gonna go with a guy we were just talking about, man, JSN. I mean, I think looking at him in half point PPR, Zoo, to your point, for a wide receiver putting up 19 a game as a 5th round ADP choice. I mean, think about that. You could have gotten a true wide receiver 1. Decent running backs, maybe even an RB1 like a Jonathan Taylor. You could have gotten. You could have gone Puka, JT. You could have drafted a top end quarterback, right? You probably could have gone another running back in the 4th, and then gotten JSN in the 5th. I mean, there have got to be teams out there that just missed or did not miss on any one of their 5 picks. And I think it was purely, to Sean's point earlier, people were hesitant about Sam Darnold.
Yep.
He was the reason why he was falling. Also, maybe the fact that by only adding a Cooper Kupp, he was going to garner way too much attention from the defenses in the secondary, which, to be fair, he has, and it does not matter. And I think that's what people were overlooking. They weren't maybe even just watching his film. Maybe they were hesitant because of the last few offensive coordinators he's had, and maybe the schemes that they were trying to use him in weren't ideal. Well, they for sure found them, and this brother is absolutely cooking, and it's none more to do than Sam Darnold. Completely agree. But if you're going to get a 5th round wide receiver 1 to 2 once everyone else is healthy, that's insane. And that is a league winner. I bet at least 70% of teams that have JSN, barring any other injuries, are making the playoffs in their fantasy football league. So shout out to him. He made me a believer. We already talked about it. He will likely have maybe him and like a Javonte Williams, another guy we haven't mentioned, as being a big, solid RB2, hot, low-end RB1 league winner. I'm very curious to see where these guys jump up year over year, because those two for core positions, tight end is tight end, and they'll always fluctuate from year to year. Like a Tyler Warren could be in that Trey McBride, maybe not as high as Trey, but when the running backs and wide receivers make a huge jump year over year, especially when they're not going from rookie to second year, it is usually extremely overinflated. JSN deserves that inflation, man.
And we saw the trajectory there, right? He was a 1st round draft pick, he was the 20th overall pick. Obviously, pretty underwhelming rookie year. A lot of people had a very high expectations. A lot of people liked him. Second year makes the leap, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Okay, that's okay, you're showing out that you're a legit receiver. And then bye-bye DK Metcalf. You take the bye-bye Tyler Lockett. All the targets are
might come back.
Yeah. So all the targets are going to you. Obviously, in a very old Cooper Kupp, but everybody knew this guy was the alpha in the offense. As you mentioned, Sam Darnold was the question mark. Everybody was a little nervous about Sam Darnold, but that situation with the new coaching staff runs a very similar offense to the Vikings offense, and JSN is in that Justin Jefferson role where Sam Darnold just has eyes for his receiver 1 and force feeds him multiple targets, and he is producing at a Justin Jefferson level this year, which is just special in his 3rd year. He's only 23 years young.
The breakout year.
Yeah, this is the breakout year. So shouts to JSN for having a career year in his 3rd year.
So JSN, the stock is very high, and I was thinking about this last night because when I was watching the Bucks, even though Mike Evans unfortunately got injured, and that was a nasty fall. Especially anytime your head hits the turf, it's just always like, eef, you always wonder how that's going to work out. But hopefully he'll be fine to where he'll still be able to continue to play after this season. So prayers up to him. But I'm looking at Emeka Buka, and of course, last night it was whatever. He's coming off the hamstring injury.
Yep.
But obviously for me, and it's just because I drafted him, like looking at where you could have got him, and I understand hesitation because when it comes to rookies, you just never know. But one thing I got to start putting into my, I guess you like draft profile of like, okay, what are the do's and don'ts? I think anytime I see an Ohio State receiver, I just need to be like, you know what? Whatever the system is telling me and the value is, just take it. Because whether it's, they start hitting in week 4 or they start like how Mecca did in week 1, it's going to be a great play. And for me, like, I mean, I got a Mecca. I was looking now, like in my 14 team, I got him at the 80th pick. Like I'm 80, like the ADPs on, I think him was like,
he was
130.
He was a consensus 7th round draft pick.
Yep.
So you picked 6 guys before. This is crazy.
Yeah. So to me is I almost want to advance the conversation of like who finishes higher, him or JSN with the Mike Evans injury in fantasy?
JSN.
If the hamstring is really bothering him, you got me. But if it's not, I think I might pick Emeka.
Wow.
Because going back to quarterbacks, I definitely believe more in Baker than I do in Sam Darnold. It's not by a lot, but I still believe in Baker more. And if you're telling me Mike Evans is truly out for the season,
he's out for the year.
And Chris Godwin, Lord knows when he's going to come back, it just feels like they're going to be getting a lot of targets towards Emeka. And the two things that are great about them is that they're just savvy in how they play the game. And fantasy-wise, they're just going to have high target share, and they're going to have the ability to get a bunch of catches. They're going to have the ability to get, I think Jason is a little bit better after the catch. But I just think it's going to be really high for both, but I might lean Emeka. So that's one guy, obviously, is one.
Mm-hmm.
One that I want is like a future, like right now he's definitely trending in the right direction, but I think he has a chance to maybe finish in like the top 8 or 9 in terms of his position is Quinshon Judkins. I think he's going to finish like maybe top 7, 8, 9 back at the end of the season. And if you're telling me not only are he, because it's obvious from day one he got the carries, but now he's getting a touchdown and he's decent as a pass catcher, like that's a steal. Because I mean, Quinshon was super low, and I get it.
14th round picks in late,
and it's all deserved because of allegations. So we understand that. But it's also the NFL. The NFL, they kind of don't care about off the field stuff when it comes to certain groups. And I'll just leave it at that. So to me, it just felt like when I saw him where he was in the draft in my 14 team league, I was like, this feels like free money. Because if you're a watcher of college football, and I feel like most people who do watch or who play fantasy, they have some semblance of what it is. Like he just profiles as, like I kept saying, he's an AFC North back. Like he just profiles as it like 6 foot, 220, 4.4, 4.5 speed, just what you want in that type of back for that league. So, or division. So to me, I think he's going to I'd say comfortably be a top 15 back, but I think he has a real shot to be a top 10, top 9 back finishing off the season. So to me, if you just have those two guys on your team, like I'm not saying you're guaranteed the playoffs because you obviously got to draft other spots on your team really well, but you're doing very well. Because to me, those are later round guys that if you hit on your top picks, you're doing quite well. I think those two are going to be.
So Sean, how's that team doing where you have both?
So in one of my leagues, I put up 144, and I think I'm 4 or 5-1 in that league, and in my 14 team, I'm 4-3. I got smoked by Jamar in that one, so it's like I just lost that one. But I feel comfortable. That I'm going to make the playoffs. And to me, those guys are like, I just need you right now. Just stay steady. Like, don't get below 500. Just stay steady so I can get into the playoffs. And then I need you guys to take off because I think there's a huge chance with that happening. And then, obviously, to round that out, Jake Ferguson. It just my tight end theory.
I forgot the goal.
Tight end theory. Tight end theory, man.
Dude,
just don't draft him high. Don't draft him high.
Never. like there's a board. There's like a rule now. Like if your name is not Travis Kelce after he retires, there's no more Travis Kelce or Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Those are transcendent at the position, all timers 1 and 2. Do not draft the tight end in the first 3 rounds, regardless of who's there. Like you're like, oh, you don't.
It don't matter.
Yeah. Pick a quarterback before taking a tight end. Like get a sure thing, like a for sure value asset, like a Josh Allen or even like a Hurts or Lamar. Like some guys like that, they have for sure value coming into the year, especially guys like Josh Allen, like Jalen Hurts, because they don't really get injured ever. They never get. So you always have a potential asset right there and get that number like QB spot locked in, because these tight ends, there's always a late round. It happens every year, and I think the fantasy community is really, really bad at predicting it. Like really awful at predicting, because I remember like usually like rookies are pretty like hot, right? So I remember the year Brock Bowers, like it's a first round rookie. Usually we hype him up. There was barely any talk about Brock Bowers, if you guys remember. He was a 10th round and later guy, and he was a league winner at the tight end position. And then same thing this year, like Tyler Warren, like he was a first rounder, like he was not going super, super high in the first top 8 rounds. He was a 9th and 10th round and later guy. So these guys are everywhere. And then you have your boy Jake Furry. So there's always a veteran that pops off, gets a bunch of touchdowns as a late round pick. And it happens every year. It happens every year that you get one of these guys, and you might just shoot a couple of dart throws at these tight ends and your later, like your double digit picks, instead of taking like a 3rd string receiver. Go for double tight ends, and hopefully one of them hits a bullseye, and then you cash in on one of those chips. Like you just take 2 shots at them, right? Because it happens every year.
That's what you did, Zoo.
Yeah, that's what I did. Like you take a little dart there. I remember I had Trey McBride, but I saw Tyler Warren there, so I'm like, I love Tyler Warren, so I took him, and I was able to use that asset to get a Gibbs. So like when you draft, screw position, you can always make a trade if you have enough assets to get a deal done.
Best player.
Round out your team. Like positions can be damned right now, because like when you think too much about positional, especially in the first couple rounds, like just take the best guy available. Just take the best guy available, and you can always make a trade to round out your roster. So
I guess as a GM, your philosophy is best player available, not team need.
Oh, absolutely.
All the Bulls
on that train too.
Oh, yeah.
I still feel like you could apply that in the NBA. It's like sometimes don't overthink it. Take the best player, and then whoever rises to the top, that's what happens. That's what ends up happening. Yeah, you'll be able to, like you said, if both things come true, both are playing at a high level, and then whoever's playing at the highest, you can keep him and then trade the other one and get assets. So that's
get assets. How that works. All you gotta do is get assets. Don't get liabilities that you're gonna waive in a week or so. Just get some good players on your roster, and you'll figure it out. If they're on your bench, you can always trade.
Yeah. So that's kind of just how that is. But yeah, fantasy, we're at the midway point in the NFL season in fantasy, and it's kind of sad on one point, but we are creeping closer to not really the NFL playoffs, but fantasy playoffs. So some of these guys will be making impacts down the road, and hopefully it'll be for our respective teams. So getting into our last topic of the day, we will be talking about our bets. We kind of took a break last week, because we were just kind of focusing on the NBA. So Peebles, what you got for this week?
Man, my stack this past weekend, I had 2 men. It was Herbert and Keenan Allen. That one was beautiful, won me a lot of money. The other one was Caleb and Rome. Absolutely at the bed. Still somehow won second place in Zoo and I's contest there.
Oh, Jaden Daniels' injury, man. Jaden Daniels on pace for 30 points.
It is unlucky. It is unlucky. When you get an injury, I had Mike Evans in a couple too. You're just like, all right, that one's maybe
it's over.
Maybe break even. Maybe.
And you know what else in daily fantasy I noticed? If you don't get the defense that goes up for 20, it's over.
Screwed.
You're screwed. You have no chance to recover. If you get
Cleveland Browns, baby.
24, it's over.
Every one of them.
It's over. You might as well not even play.
You have to hit the defense, and you have to get it at the right value, and that's the hardest point. So to that point, Zoo, I'm going Cleveland Browns against our Golden Boy.
I'm about to say
about Drake May, man. That's what I'm going to start out with. I'm telling you, man, this Browns defense is not to be joked with. You want to know how many fumbles they're going to force on Ramondre Stevenson? Oh, my God. I can already see it right now. So, I mean, as long as you can keep Drake May within the pocket, keep him from moving out and around, finding that deep ball throw to a Booty or a Stephon Diggs or whatever, then they'll keep him in check, and they're only $2,500, so you're saving a lot of dough there. I'm also going to stick with I'll start from the bottom up. Tight end, man. You want to look really good yesterday? Dalton Schultz. And he might very well benefit from Nico Collins going out. He's super cheap this week. He's a very much Jake Ferguson type player, a former Cowboy himself.
Former Cowboy.
Yep. Peppered with that 8 to 10, maybe even a little bit shorter target range. But if he can give you 8 for 90, man, that's huge at a $3,300 price tag. But the stack this week, this is tough because there's a few good games, man. Hurts versus the Giants might be ridiculous. And you could even argue that a Jackson Dart, both running both or either of those guys, depending on how many contests you play, naked without any stack, I think is fine, especially on the Jackson Dart side. Don't force a Wan'Dale Robinson stack, man. It's not going to happen. But on the Jalen side, you could easily do a bring back, right, with an AJ or a Devontae Smith. AJ looking slightly a little bit better, Zoo, for any fantasy owners.
I don't know when to start that brother, AJ.
I know.
I just don't know when. Every time I sit him, he goes off. And every time I start him, he gets me 4 points. I don't know when to start this guy.
Well, remember, Zoo, they got their butts whooped earlier by the Giants, right?
They did.
I remember it was a legendary Thursday night game. It was legendary.
So I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna have Hurt stacks. My main stack though is Bo Nix against Dallas. I am just attacking that Cowboys defense. Yep. I know it was Marcus Mariota. He was not in the game plan last week. So coming in the second half, they just completely botched it.
Jaden Daniels was killing them in the first half.
He was killing them. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely killing them, yeah.
So, Bo, I like that, bringing it back with Sutton. I'm not starting either one of the Cowboys receivers this week, though. If anything, I'll play CD, but that's secondary in Denver, man. They're number one in the league for a reason. So instead, I'm saving money, and I'm paying up for Mr. Bijan Robinson against those Miami Dolphins. Oh, my God. It might be the chalkiest pick of the week for sure. Yep. And a lot of people are going to be playing him. But I'm sorry, Jonathan Taylor is $9,500, and you have a $50,000 budget for a full roster. I'm not paying up for that this week.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
He could get you 3 touchdowns like last week.
Exactly, but Bijan can match his scoring, and he's $700 cheaper, and he's cheaper than CMC as well by $200.
Cheaper than CMC.
Cheaper than CMC. And then on the running back side, rounding it out, I'll buy into Breece Hall, man. I think they're going to give Tyrod Taylor the start. Playing the Bengals, I think that's a huge matchup for them potentially if Taylor is starting. I'll do a Rome on the wide receiver side, Rome against the Ravens. I think he has a bounce back after 2 rough games. Already mentioned the Eagles, one of the two. They're right around the same price range, and I'll bring it back with Mr. Boomer Bust himself, man. He took over the Mike Williams role of the NFL, Rashid Shaheed, man, bringing it back against a team that is likely going to be down. They're playing the Bucs. I think they're going to – Rattler's down to throw the ball. So if you can get Rashid Shaheed at $4,500, Olave is a little bit priced up now, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Big games.
Breakout game. His breakout game this year.
Breakout game for sure. So, yeah, this is a weird matchup week. A lot of really big defensive matchups or blowouts with expensive running backs. So it's hard to predict them.
It makes sense with the running backs right now because after last week, we saw some – all-time running back performances right there. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm going to lean with my pick of the week, the 49ers covering the spread against the Houston Texans. -1.5 because Houston's at home. 41.5 over under. So it's going to be a grinded out type of game. Nico Collins probably concussed, might miss the game. CJ Stroud, definitely that regression. As you mentioned, the offensive line that you projected out this year, horrendous. That offense is just so hard to watch. It's like one of the worst offenses I've ever seen. Like outside of the Baltimore Ravens game where they dropped 40 plus, this offense has been horrifically bad this year. And even though it's at road and the 49ers, obviously they're 5-2, but they had a pretty easy schedule. And I think it continues because I don't believe the Texans are a good team at all. What Christian McCaffrey has done this year, coming off catastrophic injury and being able to come back fully. He is fully healthy. You're talking about a roster that's completely battered to injury. Quarterbacks, receivers, linemen. CMC is the most healthy guy on the roster right now. And he came in, which is crazy because during training camp, they did talk about coming into the season, he was healthy. There wasn't any lingering injuries like last year. He came in with something like an Achilles tendon. They didn't really know what it was, but he came in with a little something. But this year in an offseason, the reports were accurate. He came with no injuries.
Yep.
He has sustained no injuries on a really high workload.
Extremely.
His workload right now is, I don't know if it's sustainable, but it has been sustainable so far this year. But he's putting up running back one and a wide receiver one number. Like he legitimately does play two positions for this roster. Like, and he's technically the backup quarterback of this roster right now with Mac Jones in there, which is crazy. But Christian McCaffrey's done this year is nothing short of spectacular. And I feel like with him in the offense in the red zone, like Mac Jones, he just has to be all right with this offense, right? They don't need to score that many points against. Like, I don't know why. Are you guys like that? I am shocked at how bad the Texans' offense is. Like, they're horrendous.
Their defense.
I know that.
Like, the defense is pretty good, but the offense is like kind of unwatchable. Like,
they are
unwatchable. Like the running, like Woody Marks and Nick Chubb run game, that is dreadful to watch. CJ Stroud after that transcendent rookie year, I'm like, what happened? Like, he barely looks like an average quarterback. Like, is he an average quarterback?
No, not this year.
He don't have like his weapons are mid. Like with Nico being down, they don't really have a number two. I thought Jaden Higgins was maybe going to make like
it was a high draft
for them, but it's just partly because Stroud hadn't played well. I don't know who the OC there is, but I mean they do have a defensive coach, so maybe it's just he's not connecting. I don't know. He's not, but it gets weird because it's just how the league is, man. CJ's a decent athlete, but it just the Staffords and certain guys, they're just Aaron Rodgers. He's 40, so like he's not an athlete no more. But if you don't got an athlete back there and you don't have the line that you're talking about, like, because I do think if like say you was Lamar athletic, CJ might be looking a little bit better because he'd be able to make sure to get to his receivers and stuff. So I don't know.
I like that. Tough. I didn't know it was 1.5. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is
on the road.
That's on. Yeah, but
it's just on the road,
but even still, that's very, very small. Like, that's interesting. I almost wonder the over-under is 41.5. That's on FanDuel. I don't know.
Seems high. I could see this being like a 17-13.
I'm about to say, because even though the 49ers have pretty much just lost everybody on defense, they're still, like, tough. I watched the game against, I know it's the Falcons, but, like, their D-line is still competitive. You know, I think a lot of their back end guys are young, and I think they also lost. Now Green lost with the Broncos. He got suspended for a game when he was chasing the ref. That's actually pretty funny if you watch that video online. Yeah, he was pissed, but So like I said, this week, I think I said this before the pod. I mean, there's a spread. The Titans versus Colts is a 14.5 point spread, which is insane. And then right below that, Washington versus Kansas City is a huge spread now. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is not playing in that game more than likely. But it's just a lot of big spreads like I'm just not into. So this is literally just dart throws. First starting with the Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. I love the Giants. Like I think the Giants are another one of those teams where if Jackson Dart continues to play how he's going to play next year, I think they're going to be really good because they got everything else. Like the D-line's insane. I think they got a nice complement of receivers and Cam Scatterbo is, I think, now his running style is a little violent to where I don't know how long he's going to last. Like, I don't know how long he's going to last. But if he can last at least till next year, then I think they have a lot of pieces where I think, hey, this looks like a sleeper team because Jackson Dart is a gamer, I feel like. So, but with that being said, the fact that the Broncos had to have 33 points in that fourth quarter to beat the Giants says like, good God, like I know they won the game and they're 5-2, but it's just like and Dallas's defense, we know, we get it.
Awful.
But I looked at this and was like, okay, this is a 3.5 point spread at Denver. So I would maybe be like, okay, the Cowboys, if it was there, be like, okay, I understand that spread a little bit. But the fact that it's a home field advantage and they're only giving them 3.5 means they respect the hell out of the Dallas offense. So I think there's a chance that I know Denver had this reputation going into the league, or not league, or going to the season, like one of the best defenses in the league that will probably be in the league this year. And they're okay, but I don't think it really matters when they're going against this Dallas offense. I mean, like I said, George has played as a number one. CeeDee's coming back. We already talked about Jake Ferguson. Javonte Williams is still a legitimate weapon. I think this offense can put up points. So to me, do I want to take the 3.5? I just screw it. Just go money line with the Dallas Cowboys. 3-3. They get this win. Maybe they put a little bit of teams on notice because now we're looking at them 4-3. We're never going to be like, oh, they're a true contender because their defense is so bad. But it's like they could be in a situation where they're fighting and being scrappy towards trying to get, one of the last 2 spots in the playoffs.
They're the Bengals of last year.
Yeah, they're scrapping.
I think we talked about at the beginning of the year. Like it's just like the Bengals. And I
don't think
with a better kicker. That's it.
And honestly, man, like I know Micah was a massive part of what they were doing on defense, but I don't think if they have Micah on this current iteration of the defense, they're like leaps and bounds. No. Maybe they're better on 3rd down, obviously, because they can get a sack on the key down. So Micah would be key for that. But now looking at that trade, I know everybody was like, the hysteria of Micah, but it's like, man, especially with the picks they get, like I'm going to be really interested to see what they do in the draft because Dak playing like how he's playing in that offense, it's going to be exciting to see. But, like I said, dart throw for me is plus 3.5. I went with the money line at plus 146. And then for my second pick, just talking about Micah, his Green Bay Packers are going to the Steelers. Another one, 3.5 point spread. Now, Green Bay is going on the road, so I do kind of understand that. But even though the Pittsburgh Steelers lost against Cincinnati, and partly because Jamar Chase went off, Aaron Rodgers looks good. Like, he looks competent. Like, he looks like a quarterback who obviously is way past his own individual prime, but I think he's a quarterback that can get the ball to DK, Calvin Austin. He's got a pretty solid running game with Warren and Gainwell. Their offense looks good enough. And for me, the story always with Pittsburgh has always been, hey, man, what are we doing on offense to, kind of just aid our defense? I think this team is good, and I think this is a really good spot for them being at home to where they can prove a point with the Green Bay Packers because I love the Packers. I love the entire team, and I'm still not wavering with them being like Super Bowl bound or at least AFC Championship bound, but I would kind of like to see a receiver just step up because I know everybody loves a committee, but it's just – and maybe I'm just never going to see that because how Matt LaFleur designs offense is just one guy's not going to get off. And that's probably why they're successful. But I just would love to see a receiver step up and be a guy for them. Because then that would make me I'm all in. Like right now I'm 90% in. I would be all in, push chips to the middle of the table if I could just see Matthew Golden just go off for like 110 yards, like a 7-catch game, 110, 1 touchdown. Just see that just to know it's in there.
I think since he's a rookie, we're having like these big expectations. Some rookies take longer to develop. Like I was mentioned, like a guy like a JSN, really good player, and it took a couple of years for him to be developed to that receiver elite one. So maybe Golden's that guy that has to develop and get better chemistry with Jordan Love because there's a lot of times Jordan Love just kind of misses Golden. Like Golden does get open a lot, he just misses them. And then
Jordan Love's not perfect.
If you miss that big throw, that potentially 70-yard touchdown, like you only get those opportunities like maybe once a game. So if you miss that opportunity, you miss that, and you don't cash it in, and you don't get the 100-yard touchdown game. So a lot of those big plays, like he's not a possession receiver, right? So
which is funny, because Jordan Love is always slinging it, dude. It's like, come on, just sling it down to him. I played him so much.
To hit him though, you can't be missing them, man. You can't have those opportunities. You gotta cash in those big throws.
They do use them though. They use them in a lot of ways.
They're using them more now.
And that's the thing. It wasn't like I said before the draft, or not before, after the draft when they selected him. It's like it's obvious that they want to get him involved because the Packers don't take first-round receivers. So obviously that means they think he's a dude that could be his number one. So until I see it, it's just like, So I think with the Steelers, just focusing on them, they're sneaky. And I think this could be a moment where, hey, you're at home, you're the brand of the Steelers, plus 3.5. So that means Vegas looks at you. It's like you're not going to get blown out. I'd be interested to see. And also, too, wanted to point out, they also are really good. I kind of forgot about Darnell Washington. Like, they got Washington, they got Freiermuth, they got another one. They got 3 kind of really good tight ends.
They scored all the touchdowns last game.
Yeah, like the Steelers are kind of creeping up in that. The only reason why I don't take them seriously because I just think Aaron Rodgers might get hurt or something. But if he just doesn't say he stays healthy, this is the game they could win. So, like I said, this is the only 2 games where it's like the spreads were that close, and it's like, do I want to take the spread or the money lines? I chose to take the money lines. If you take the money line on this one, it's plus 148, which totals you out to, I don't know why.
Probably like a 400.
Yeah, it's like a 5, I think. The Eagles was up there, but it's a 5 plus 510. So
that's nice for 2 legs.
Now, yeah, it's not bad for 2 legs, and to me, they're the closest because the other ones were just, I mean. If you just wanted to be crazy and throw Titans in there plus 14.5. Because to me, it's still the NFL and everybody has to like compete. So maybe they get beat by like 10, but plus 14.5 is just, it's enticing. This way you get in trouble with parlays. It's like, because if you just throw the plus 14.5,
oh my God, just throw it in there.
Titans. If you throw it in there, it's plus 1,027. So now those odds are insane. Like the plus 500 is nice, but like boosting it up that high. But obviously, Vegas knows more than me. And the Colts who you just talked about, who were rolling, I think they're going to get ahead early. Jonathan Taylor might end up having a 4-touchdown game. So I can see that spread sticking. Like I said, the only other double-digit spread in that one, it's Washington and Kansas City, which is, I get that.
Watching that game.
Jaden Daniels. Seeing what they did to the Raiders. And that's another team where we didn't talk about them, but I don't know. Jaden's been hurt a lot this year, and it is looking like they don't have a lot outside of my man Debo, and I don't know when Terry's coming back.
And Debo's injured too.
Yeah. So. That's par for course, so he usually always gets injured, but he could kind of be. I wonder what was
Terry McLaurin, like the entire roster's like.
He ain't being scary, dude. He ain't scary this year. I called it, man. I was like, he's going to bust this year. 10 touchdown regression, man.
Out.
No, and training camp, he was sitting out trying to get his contract. I'm telling you, whenever you want to get your money, you're sitting out. You're not putting in the work. You're bound to get injured. You cannot disrespect the game because the game is going to disrespect you.
Facts.
You got to.
It's almost like the teams, and they would never do this, but it's like if you sit out that long, like basically negotiating your contract, you get it done right before the season. There should almost be like a team mandated, like it's almost like IR. You don't get to come back to like week 5, just to like get accustomed to practice and get your body used to what you need. What you're going to do.
Didn't matter for Rashee Rice, man. Couldn't practice all year, man. He just came in and just cooked.
That is true. That is true. Rashee is younger though, probably, so that might be a factor. Because Terry's just turned 30.
He's 30, yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it's still early. They're 3-4. If Jaden is not out an extended period of time with his hamstring, I think they could sneak into the playoffs. But we'll see. Because that Dallas game, you don't like losing that one. So, that's our bets for this week. Make sure you guys tune in to Tyson Talks _ on Instagram, Tyson Talks _ on YouTube, or Quantro Knows on YouTube. Make sure you Spotify, Apple, get on there, 5-star review. Make sure you give us comments also as well, so we can get into the algorithms. Also, make sure that you look at our content shift because it is, I think, what's NBA starting tomorrow, or is it tonight? Tonight. Yeah. Content will be shifting on the page with a lot of NBA, let's just say hypotheticals, things that actually get the fans thinking and seeing how the season's going to play out. So make sure you shift into that. Not saying we're abandoning football, but you'll see as you go through the season, NBA content, just for full disclosure, is a little bit more easier for me to make because it's just a whole lot more creative I can get with edits. So make sure you're tuning out for that on your Instagram and YouTube Shorts. And for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we are out.